Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Early Wine, and we've got Easter sneaking up on us.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a little late this year, so.
It is late, and I'm glad it's late because it's sneaking up on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I guess it just feels, because I still feel like it's pretty chilly out. I feel like we're still having a lot of chilly days.
It's kind of cold and windy, yeah.
I kind of feel like we've been living in the temperatures 30s and 40s since October. I feel like it's just dragging on and dragging on, but
it's okay.
Yeah, so it's not.
It's fine.
I knew Beth is like, it's fine. Maybe we could start bringing Christmas music for Easter. But Easter services coming up. Good Friday, the Community Good Friday, the Ministerial Alliance. They are doing their Community Easter Good Friday service at the Nostalgia Theater. Friday night, 7 o'clock.
Everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome. FCC's Praise Band is playing. So it's going to be a good time. And
then on Easter Sunday, First Christian Church, our service is at 10 a.m. Everyone is welcome to attend that. If you don't know anyone and you want to show up, I'm usually sitting in the balcony. You can come sit next to me.
Yeah.
So
you can come sit next to me. I'll be on the stage.
Yeah. And when she's not on stage, she sits in the front row.
I sit right on the front.
If you're a confident visitor, you can sit with her on the front row. But if you're maybe not quite as confident, you can sit in the balcony with me.
Yeah, I'm always right on the front row, right on the court. I have my same spot. It's so weird. I don't think we mean to do that because, sometimes Christians can get a bad rap, right? Be like, oh, you're sitting in my pew or my chair or whatever. I don't even think about it, but I even park in the same parking spot.
You just get into a habit, but if somebody else sits there, it's no big deal.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
It's just I get in the habit of sitting in the same area.
You really do.
Not a big
I know.
deal.
Phil and Cindy Lieb, I noticed that they started rotating a little bit, so they're getting out of that habit. But I just go right. Of course, I'm the worship leader, so it's just easier for me to be right there in case I need to go up and in. But very interesting. And I park in the same spot every time. It's like, what is so weird?
Yeah, we get into a habit for sure.
We definitely get into a habit. But it's a lot. I like Easter. Easter's about one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah, and another thing our church is doing Thursday night, they're doing, and so this will maybe air on Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure. I might have already missed it, but we're doing that walkthrough.
Yeah, the walk to the cross.
Walk to the cross, and you can come. It's a self-guided tour, and each room is a different step towards the cross, and you can see things as they happen during Holy Week.
Yep.
And so that's interesting and fun. So.
Yeah, that's good. It's something our new pastor's wife, Natalie Kazire, is it Kazire?
Kazire. It rhymes with desire.
Kazire. They're great people. They're sweet as can be. And she's been singing in the praise band with me, and she adds a lot. She's a harmonizer, so this must have been a thing that she'd done in their previous churches. And so, I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what's, I didn't get a room. You'll stop and visit rooms, and each room is like Jesus' journey to the cross. Maybe that's what it's called, Journey to the Cross. I don't know.
Journey to the Cross. I think that's what it's called.
And so each room is going to be set up with some things, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out. And I don't know. So what are you guys doing for Easter?
We don't do a big Easter, so I know your family does a big Easter. Our family, honestly, I'm happy to not do anything on Easter. Like I don't want to. I like having a quiet day at home. But Malia has invited us over to her house in Effingham, Malia and Alex, this year.
Well,
for Easter.
So it's just your husband, your family, your kids, and that your mom.
Yeah, and maybe Alex's family. I'm not sure. I don't know the details yet. So
we do a big Easter. We do a big Easter egg hunt, and I put lottery tickets out for the adults, so the adult kids while they're watching.
Yes, last year you told me that. I was actually thinking about attending your Easter last year just to win lottery ticket. I did.
You can, because we have them. I mean, me and my sisters, we go crazy. I think we have like 12 or 13 little kids. Yeah, Easter's. I love Easter, and it's just, I like it being outside. What's the temperature is going to be? Has anybody looked for Easter?
I don't know. Let me pull it up real quick.
Let's look that up, because isn't there an old wives saying that, like, if it rains on Easter Sunday, it'll rain the next?
Well, there's a 65% chance of rain that day now. We're a few days out, but it's going to be a high of 70, a low of 49, and rainy.
I can do 70, but not rainy. I can't do rainy. But one time when I put, like, I kind of, because I like not only do eggs, we do like some little toys, and I put like chocolate bunnies out. You got to be careful where you put that.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
you said that one bunny was all melted. Yeah.
Jack was like, "Yaya, what's wrong with this bunny?" I said, "Well, he melted."
We always just wrote on a piece of paper like what your prize was and a little slip and put that in the egg, and then all the prizes were kept inside, the chocolate bunnies and stuff.
Maybe I should do that if it's going to be 70
or rainy. Yeah, and then you, when you open the egg, then each kid then they have this pile of little pieces of paper. It says what their prizes are.
Okay, so I can still just put eggs out there with candy in them.
But some eggs can just have a piece of paper in them.
Like if I have chocolate bunnies and stuff.
Or something like at our A-Strike Easter eggs, like there might be one that's like a big bubble wand.
Yeah.
And you might win a bubble. You open it and it says bubble wand. So then you go to the person that's in charge of the prizes and you're like, oh, I got a bubble wand. And then they hand you a bubble wand.
That might be better than numbers. I could get confused. But if I have like 5 teddy bears.
Absolutely.
I just put teddy bear in there. You are onto something today. I'm going to do that. Yeah. Especially with my chocolate. Yeah, because if I have stuffed animals.
Yeah, or you can do jump ropes. You can do
I
like
do all that bubbles.
Fun stuff. Yeah.
Kids are obsessed with bubbles.
Oh, yeah.
I love bubbles. But yeah, I think I'll do that today. I have to make a Walmart run because I got to get groceries after I have a class at the shop today for 3 hours. And then I need to bring the kids over to see your baby chicks and then make a Walmart run. I'm going to do that.
Yep.
I am going to do that.
Okay, well, we got that sorted out.
We got that sorted out.
Any other problems you need me to solve today?
World peace?
World peace. I can't conquer that one. Do you have anything simpler, like Easter eggs, like that kind of level of difficulty I can handle?
You can do Easter eggs, just not world peace? No, but I'm going to write that down right now because you know what? I won't ever remember because my brain does not work like it used to.
My brain doesn't work like it used to either. I find myself like trying to, like, what was I getting ready to say? Like,
Well, is that just because we're busy?
I think it's just because we're busy and I got like so many tabs open in my brain.
Yeah.
That's like I got, work going on and I got the show going on and then I've got, all these kid things that we're in the middle of track season. So
yeah, how is track? They've been having very many?
She's had a couple. It's going okay. And so that's,
Track kids, I feel bad for the track kids because it seems like a lot of their stuff gets canceled. They never redo them.
Yeah. Well, like last year, she ran track, and there were several meets that got canceled, and they never rescheduled. It's just there's not time
with this wind.
Yeah,
I would hate to be running in this wind.
Her next meet, I think she said, is Thursday night, but I think there was rain on that day too. 45% chance. Yeah. So.
That's crazy.
Anyway. Yeah. So.
I don't know.
Anywho, it's just, it's busy with track and the kids' school finishing up. They've had a lot of testing going on.
I'll tell you what, with Easter being late, school's going to be over in a heartbeat.
I know. And honestly, I'm so ready for it. Like, kids have been sick a lot this year and there's just, I don't know. I'm just, by this time of year, you're just ready for the break.
I want to be done.
And honestly, okay, let's talk spring break for a moment. Because
let's talk
it used to be the kids got a longer spring break.
Like almost a week, right?
Yeah, now they don't. And I get it that you want to still get out early. But why are there other days too many? I feel like there's too many teacher holidays that are like teachers' institution or whatever. Like, can't go 2 or 3 weeks hardly without having a day off of school.
A day off of school. Quit doing that.
And take a whole week off of Easter because it just feels like
you're right.
They barely get into a routine and then it's like, oh, we're off Friday. Oh, we're off Monday.
That's right.
It's like all these days off all the time.
Yeah.
But not a real spring break. And they kind of, by this time, especially when Easter is late, like they need it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they need it in March. So if I was in charge of things, I would just set it's always the third week of March. Like that's always the whole week. It doesn't have to be by Easter because our schools, they do it where
because at this point they haven't had a break since January.
Yeah, so they get Good Friday off, and then I think they maybe get the Monday off, and then that's it. They don't get like Thursday. A whole week. And I feel like these kids are I'm ready for a break. They're ready for a break. Like let's just. But yeah, they're gonna have Easter, and then it's gonna be it's
Done.
going to turn around and it's going to be prom, and then it's going to be
'cause when is
graduation,
prom?
and all the other like the 28th or something. I don't know.
Because isn't Easter? I mean, I'm sorry. Isn't like graduate? Isn't it late this year? Don't we have
Yeah.
something to make up? Some
Yeah,
days
school
to
gets
make
out
up?
later this year, so they're not. Their last day of school isn't until like May 20 something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So they've got to go most of May, and then. But we're already halfway through April.
Yeah,
Today's the
tax day,
15th.
yeah.
So, I'm not real sure what the last day of school is, but I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. I think they have about 5 weeks of school left. And it'll go by fast.
It's
It
going
always
to, yeah.
does. But I just wish they had a little bit more of a spring break.
Yeah.
Some
And I
schools do
remember
that.
like years ago, we took off for a week. But then I remember even as a child, I mean, they started changing it just Friday and Monday. And then I feel like it came back again and we took that week off. It's kind of fluctuated. But I think lately it's just been Friday and Monday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right.
Well, Monday Jack won't be in school. So Monday we're planting our garden.
Oh, okay.
Valbert's as soon as Valbert rolls out there.
Oh, they've been out all week.
I'm go. Yeah, I didn't have time, but I'm
Okay.
go. We're planting garden. I can't plant garden without Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're planting our garden Monday. Mm-hmm. So I got to clean all that up. And
Yeah, I'm sure Jason is itching to get his tilled. But
yeah, he
he's
does
been
a garden every year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a great garden, but it's just he's been on working
I don't have a
overtime
great
and
garden.
stuff. So
I have raised beds. Mm-hmm. I don't have a real garden.
yeah, but you
I grow what I like and I eat it as I go.
Yeah, and our garden is not huge, but
Yeah.
it provides exactly what we want and plenty of it.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Sometimes your garden can be too big because then it's like, what do I do with all of it? I either have to can it, or I have to give it away.
Yeah,
and
that's too much.
And I don't mind giving it away, but sometimes people don't want it, and other times, like I just don't have time to can. I haven't made the time to can. So
let's do our ad. I picked a Maybelline ad, and I picked this one today. This is from the 40s, and I picked this one because it's got like a picture before she has her eye makeup on, and the afterwards. This is what a difference Maybelline makes. Maybelline Eye Beauty Aid. Stop, look, compare these two pictures of the same girl. Hair, nose, mouth, complexion, exactly alike. Everything the same. Except her eyes. It's basically a compact eyeshadow kit, and yeah, I just thought that was cool. It's like, boy, you wouldn't.
that was clever marketing. That was smart.
Before using Maybelline, the different, and it's the difference. What a difference Maybelline makes. I thought that was a really cool ad. I'm like,
I like
man,
it.
you don't see that very often.
She's very pretty either way.
Yeah, she's a beauty.
But that's a good way to sell the product.
Yeah, because like everything else is on, her cheeks are on, her eyes are on, her lips are on. But then they didn't do anything but put the eyeshadow on. I thought that was a cool ad.
Yeah, I did too.
We're going to take a commercial break, and Beth's going to come back with a story from where we at?
Wayne County.
Wayne County. No telling what's going to be said.
We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. So I'm going to talk about this Wayne County story about the Greene brothers.
The Greene
with a
brothers.
silent E on the end. So Greene. Okay. And it's quite an interesting story. And the headline of this article is what caught my attention. And it said, "Body guarded by dynamite in mystery grave?" ?
What?
And I was like, "Wait, what?
Please, yes, please.
Dynamite in a cemetery? Like, please tell me more." Okay, so then the first sentence of whoever wrote this was like really grabbing your attention, because the very first sentence says, "Does a dead man's hate really rule over the grassy grave of his brother, Abel Greene?" Well, does it? I don't know.
I don't know.
So we're going to talk about the Maple Hill Cemetery. This is near Fairfield. Okay, and there is a man buried there named Abel Greene. And it says it is not as tranquil as it looks, but it has become a legend. So it's a little bit of a local legend. And I don't know that very many citizens now remember it, but citizens, when this happened, this was around the 1930s. At that time, the people living near this cemetery were living in fear.
Well,
because of this story. So we kind of have a Cain and Abel story here, but instead of Cain, we got James.
Okay.
James and Abel.
Okay.
So grim symbols of the suspicions and hatreds of the brother James Greene, who was a miner and an expert in explosives, is the persistent rumor that shortly before his own death, he planted 6 quarts of TNT in his brother Abel's grave.
What?
As an insurance against any attempts to move the body. And it is said if there are sticks of dynamite with sensitive caps buried around this body. And if anyone touches it or tries to move him, it's all going to go off. Okay?
Huh.
So nobody knows for sure that they're there. And nobody knows for sure that the burial spot is really ready to be touched off, or if it contains either dynamite or nitroglycerin. Only James could have told us, and he is dead. So the guy that supposedly put it there, the expert, James was the expert in explosives, okay? His brother, Abel, died, and he supposedly buried all of this TNT around Abel's body. But then James ended up dying too, so nobody knows for sure if it's there.
Oh my gosh.
So, and as for digging to make sure the grave is not, quote, loaded,
who would do that?
nobody seems to care enough to risk it.
Duh.
Mayor L.A. Blackburn is thought to have considered an investigation. Now, again, this was written in the 30s. The city council discussed hiring an explosive engineer to examine the grave, but no action was taken. Instead, the inquiry seems definitely to have been abandoned. I would abandon it too.
I would abandon.
Like, it's not really worth it. It's not going to go off unless somebody digs, so why dig? And we'll get more into the story here in a minute, but it says nobody has tampered with Abel's grave, nor its modest headstone, and no tampering is being contemplated. But Carl Goodall, he is the cemetery sexton at the time, he isn't one of those to take rumors lightly. Like many others, he is in no mood to test the existence of the TNT and is entirely willing to let well enough alone. He readily admits that he was plenty careful when James Greene died, and it was his job to dig the new grave near that of Abel in the family lot. So this is a family plot here. When Abel died, that's when James supposedly put the dynamite in there. But then James turned around and died too, and where did they bury him? Right next to Abel. So then this cemetery person, Carl Goodall, he had to dig the hole for James right next to
right next to the.
And he said he was very careful.
Oh, God.
And before he did, he consulted the sisters of these Greene brothers, and they talked it over, he explains. But I felt I had nothing to fear as long as I didn't dig too close. The living threat of the dead seems to have been started by James himself. The explosives expert said he had planted the TNT 2 quarts at the head, 2 quarts in the center of the body, and 2 at the foot of Abel's grave. And he told anybody that would listen that, quote, no person will ever move Abel. Why was he so obsessed?
Why was he so obsessed with that?
Let me get into that. So those who heard him
we just go around moving bodies from graveyards?
Those who heard him say they recall that he gave the impression it was something he had intended to make sure of. The fact was that James feared the Masons were going to exhume Abel's body and rebury it in a lodge plot. Okay, so James was very active in, Abel was very active in the Masons.
As in the Masons.
The Masons.
The all-seeing eye.
Yes.
Okay.
And that his brother was obsessed with the fact that the Masons were going to come get Abel's body and move it to the Mason cemetery for the Freemasons. So, in order to prevent that from happening, he planted the TNT all the way around his brother's body. So
paranoid much?
Soon, the rumor was circulated that James Greene had put enough nitro in the grave to blow the entire cemetery to kingdom come if it were disturbed. At the death of James, the talk was again rife, so it kind of all died away for a bit after Abel died.
I would be afraid to even go in the cemetery.
But then James died, and then everyone started talking about it again.
Okay. According
to Carl Goodall, while I was digging, Mrs. Klein came to the cemetery and asked me to be more careful. This was Mrs. Sarah Klein of Kirk, Colorado. She had come to care for James when he was ill. So this was James's caretaker in his final days. Before he died, she was caring for him. And then now the guy is at the cemetery digging the hole for James to be buried. Sarah comes along and says, hey, I need you to be more careful, because apparently she knew something. Mrs. Klein later repeated her statement to the mayor. She was not, however, the only one who claimed firsthand knowledge to the nitro or the dynamite. There was also a woman named Mrs. Dora Wilson, and James had stayed at her rooming house while he was ill. Okay, so James is sick. He's staying in a rooming house with Dora Wilson, but he also has this nurse, Sarah Klein, coming in. Both of these women knew about the loaded grave, and he had told Dora Wilson all about it. The Fairfield legend had its beginnings in an old family feud. Okay, so here's the family feud between Cain and Abel. James and Abel.
James and Abel.
Abel Greene, in his youth, left home and amassed a fortune estimated at $300,000.
I knew money had to be involved.
Really?
There's no dynamite buried there.
Every story has money involved at some
money
point.
Built
Okay.
buried there. I'd be digging that sucker up now.
I don't know if you would or not. Okay, so
I'd hire it done.
I don't think the money is there, but let's keep going. Okay. The Fairfield legend, had its beginning with the family feud. Abel Greene left home, made a fortune, $300,000 in the mining business. But he was eccentric, and he was a bachelor. Okay, and he was poorly dressed. He lived like he didn't have any money. And he lived only for the Masonic Lodge in Joplin, Missouri. He had traveled over to Missouri. He became a Mason. He didn't just become a Mason. He became heavily involved in the Masons.
Like a third degree Mason.
And he's living basically at the Masonic Lodge in Joplin, Missouri. He stayed there for years. His social life, everything was all centered around the activities of the different parts of the Masonic order. When his father died, he made a trip to Fairfield and learned that the old farm homestead of 40 acres was claimed by his mother. Okay?
Okay.
Stop there for a minute because he gets mad about this.
Okay.
But I'm like, why would you be mad? Technically, to me, it should go to the wife, and then when the wife dies, then it goes to the kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But apparently he came home, hadn't been home in years, by the way. He'd
wasn't one
been
of those.
over in Joplin, Missouri, living in the Masons, living like he was poor, but he had this fortune. I don't even know that he paid rent or anything. Like maybe he had to pay them. Maybe that's where, maybe he gave them a lot of money. I don't know.
Who knows?
But
before you get to going to that,
time for a commercial.
let's take a commercial
Okay.
break, then we'll get back into Mama.
Okay, we'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, you just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to, by the way, with Beth and Stacey. So we're talking about the Greene brothers from Wayne County. We're talking about Abel and James. Okay, so Abel had moved away, lived in Joplin, Missouri with the Masons at their lodge and made a fortune. Meanwhile, James is back here. Their father dies, and Abel comes home and learns that the estate had been left to his mother, which it should have been. Okay.
Yep.
So
Good.
he got angry. And he said that he was robbed of 40 acres of his robbed of his share of his father's estate.
No, you can get that when your mother's gone.
That's what I think too. I don't know.
What?
So a family then became a family quarrel. Okay, so they had this big family quarrel, led to his return to Joplin, where he continued his solitary existence, practically living in the Shrine Mosque there and spending much of his time in the reading room. Okay, I just think this guy was major weird.
I'm not a fan of him.
Yeah, I think that he was definitely eccentric, definitely had his
Spoiled
own way
brat.
of doing thing, and just kind of out of touch, honestly.
I agree.
I mean, here his father just died, so you'd think he'd
Not
come
a
home,
fan.
they would all be in mourning and be like, "Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry, you know, how have you been? I haven't seen you in years. How's my brother?"
Yeah.
No, instead he's mad. He comes
he
home
didn't
and
get
he's
40
angry.
acres.
He's very selfish,
I don't like this guy.
narcissistic.
We're not fans of you.
Not fans. Okay, so he spends all of his time in the mosque.
Huh.
And let's talk about what year this was, 1930.
Ooh, 1930.
He had this fortune, and guess what he did with it? Stock market.
Stock market?
He'd been playing the stock market.
He lose it all? When was the crash?
And the crash was in 29.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Things are not good in 30. And he
Yeah.
didn't start in 30. He'd been playing the stock market all along. He played the stock market, and it is believed that despondency over the losses led to his death. His body was found February the 9th of 1930 in his room after he had been dead 2 days from a gunshot wound.
Really?
He had collapsed on the bed, the revolver still clutched in his hand.
Okay.
He shot himself. That's what I call Silas. Ty, Google the day that the stock market crashed. I think it was the end of 1929. I don't know what month. I don't remember. But I'd say this was only a few short months after that. And he probably realized it was not October of 29. So and this was in February the 9th, beginning of February. By that time, he had given up and he shot himself.
Wow. Jeez.
Everyone supposed that he had died penniless.
Well, did he?
They supposed that. Bum, bum, bum. But did he really?
Nope. It's going to get deep in a minute.
6 feet deep and full of dynamite deep. That's how deep.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So, when his safety deposit box was opened, it was found that he had left a will drawn up by himself a short time after his family quarrel. It was dated January 14th, 1924. Okay, so his dad must have died in 24. That's when the family quarrel was.
Yeah.
Right after that, he wrote his own will when he got back home. And it directed that most of the estate, nearly $36,000 in cash, should go to the Masonic Lodge at Fairfield for a public library or a home for the Masons. He also willed $1,000 to the lodge for the upkeep of his grave.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So he's given the Fairfield Masons money to keep his grave cleaned off and in good shape, and for either a library or a little home where other Masons could live. Because apparently he saw this as a good thing. This is where he had lived, was in Joplin, Missouri, at a home for the Masons.
Yeah.
He thought Fairfield should have something similar. The only other person he gave any money to, or the only other money he gave, and it wasn't much because he had quite a bit more he could have given them, but he gave $100 to his mother, $100 to his sister Mary, $100 to his sister Rose, and to his sister Sarah, and $100 to his brother James. So $500 out of all of his thousands and thousands that he had, which was a lot of money in 1930 because nobody had any money in 1930. Mm-hmm. And instead, he gave the vast majority of it to the Masons, and then gave each of his siblings and his mother $100. That's kind of
what a weird guy.
Mm-hmm. The Masons of Fairfield carried out the terms of the will nearly as they could. Abel was buried as directed in the family plot under Masonic rites. But hardly was Abel buried than James filed a suit in Joplin contesting the will. So the brother was like, you're not getting the $36,000. Right. We are going to contest this.
Because okay, so like, I know things are different now than 1930s, but can you do that? I mean, is there such a thing as like just writing down what you want on a piece of paper, not having it lawyered or anything? I mean,
I think you
back
can.
Back then you probably could, right?
I think you still can if you have a letter, but I don't know how airtight it is. I think they would try to honor it. But anyway. So he contested it, and they actually did compromise on it. The judge was willing to see that there should be compromised. So the compromise was that the lodge, instead of receiving $36,000, would receive $10,000 of the estate. Mm-hmm. And that was not enough for the library to be built, because it asked that you take this money and build a library or a home, and they didn't have enough to do that. Yeah. The rest of the money then went to the relatives, even though the testament stated that if it was contested by them, they were not to get a penny. So that is a very important part there. That in that will that Abel wrote, he said they each get $100. But if they contest this and try to get more money out of it, they get zero, nothing, not a penny. But the judge saw it differently. And the judge said, no.
Change my mind.
The lodge can get $10,000. The rest can go to the family. But James did not cease to be suspicious. Now, this is the brother that's still living. He continued to live in Fairfield and to maintain a little locksmith shop near the town's edge. But he held himself aloof. He was always a strange man, liking few friends greatly, hating other persons intensely. He became more and more embittered against the Masonic order. So he just kind of sounds like he was also a little strange, definitely introverted, didn't have a lot of friends. Not that that's terrible.
Right.
And,
But,
and I
yeah.
don't know who wrote this article. They definitely weren't afraid to just kind of throw people under the bus.
Yeah.
Even though perhaps the only kind words old Abel heard in his declining years were from lodge members, James was convinced they had inveigled him into leaving the money to the organization. So James thinks they tricked poor Abel into leaving him all the money, but he declared that the order was planning to move his brother's body to a Masonic burial ground. This is the part where James kind of goes out and gets a little weird.
It's a lot. Yeah.
He's like convinced the Masons were going to move Abel's body to a Masonic burial ground. And James actually spent a lot of time at his brother's grave. That is when he began saying grimly that his brother would never be moved. That is around the time where he started telling people about the TNT.
Oh, okay.
Many people repeated it, and the rumor grew and spread. So, do you think there's really TNT there?
Oh, man, no.
Or I kind of think no either. Because
I don't think he, yeah.
I think that he loved his brother, but I don't think he would have actually dug in there and opened it up and put all the TNT around it.
I don't think so either.
But I do suspect some mental illness maybe in this family on both sides.
Maybe
both
a little.
Abel and James maybe had a little bit
I don't think that there's
of
any- I don't think there's
paranoia
any.
or something, and and I don't know. And,
No,
and
I
the fact
definitely
is
don't
that
think it's there.
James, I guess he loved his brother, but at the same time he'd had this big fight with him. But then when his brother died, he wanted to go sit at his grave all the time.
Yeah.
And then convinced himself that they were going to move him to a Masonic burial ground. Well,
And why would you care? I mean, he left
so
all his
what?
money. Why would you care?
So what? So
Who
what?
cares?
They want to move him. Well, not ideal, but whatever. He
Whatever.
loved the Masons. He's dead. He's not
left
really
him
there. It's
all of his money.
It's a dead body. And if the Masons want to spend that much money to go move this body,
Who cares?
probably they don't even care
They
enough.
probably don't care.
They have money to help care for his grave. They don't probably care where it is.
Yeah, it's kind of just an odd.
It's a weird story.
It is a weird story.
Okay, so rumor all over Fairfield. You know how rumors go in small towns anyway.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, man, that grave is loaded. It's going to explode. So James was just sick at heart over his brother's death. And whenever they buried James after he died, there actually was a crowd that gathered near the cemetery fence to watch the grave digging. Others, not quite so courageous, watched from a distance. But nothing happened. Just as mystery surrounded the lives of the eccentric brothers, so mystery seems destined to hover year after year over their graves. They have died, but their deeds, real or imagined, stay forcefully alive. Fairfield itself is no longer just another little town, but a town with a legend, which parents will tell their children and grandparents their grandchildren. It is the legend of the embittered brothers and the loaded grave, which might blow up a corner of the village if disturbed. Some of the children tread lightly when they are near the Greene family plot. But the last strange twist is that the intrusion of the Masons, which James had so feared, is farthest from their minds.
Yeah.
Officers of the Masonic Lodge, in fact, being responsible for the care of the grave, are protecting it from interference, even though some insist it's a public danger. The officers of the Masons have actually rejected offers from national munitions experts to examine the grave. And the Masons also state that James' fears were groundless. The lodge never considered moving Abel's remains. That was something that wasn't even on their list of ideas and nothing. And James had it in his head
That they were
were
gonna move that
determined
body.
to move that body. And the kicker is that all these years, and probably still today, the Masons are who's taking care of that grave.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
And because it's a family plot, they are probably making sure that the whole thing is
dead.
cleaned off, and that would include James, who is now dead, and probably the caregiver of his grave is also the Masons. So
That's the nuttiest story ever.
yeah. So that was a dandy. That was a dandy story, and we have some pictures to go along with it.
Oh, good. Yes, please.
So let's take a look at James and Abel. Okay, put that one up there. That
Now, see, he looks like a perfectly normal. Who's that?
That is Abel.
Okay.
Okay,
Looks
so
like a
that's
perfectly normal young man.
Yep. Okay. This
And-
is also Abel. Like, let's stay on this one for a second, Ty, because he's a handsome guy,
He's
and
very
he's
cute.
got the whole 1920s vibe down. He's
Oh,
got
yeah.
his little chain on his vest
Watch,
and
yeah.
his watch, and he's looks like a.
He looks normal.
And we're only hearing this one-sided article. Like, there's so many sides to every story. Who knows? He might have been the normal one. The other ones were crazy, and he left
It's
to get away
definitely-
from them.
What's that, urban legends?
Yeah, it's an urban legend, and maybe there are people watching in Fairfield that actually know the real story that were related
Probably
to him.
do.
If they do, reach out to us on Facebook. By the way, Beth and Stacey. Okay, let's keep going on pictures. There's Abel's grave.
Okay.
Passed away in 1930,
Yeah. So he
and
was,
this is the family headstone.
The headstone,
And then they all have like a little stone around it.
Where is the graveyard in Fairfield?
Oh,
I
we're
mean,
gonna find it. We're gonna
We're
go.
going.
We're going. I don't know which one this
Oh,
is.
as soon as it warms up, we're gonna go on a graveyard.
Okay, this is
Oh.
James.
Ah. Okay.
And he does look a little
He looks a little
different.
gangster.
Yeah, but
He looks a
like
little
in his
gangster.
eyes though, he just kind of he looks scared or something.
Yeah.
Do you think he was had paranoia?
I would undoubtedly something.
Yeah. Yeah, I like his hat though.
I like that hat.
Mhm.
I like that coat.
Okay.
Now wait a minute.
This
Is that
this is also James. This is a little bit later, but yeah, that's James.
He's got great balance. What's he standing on?
I don't know, some little.
Some little boat looking
Mm-hmm.
thing. He's on. How interesting. Where'd you find these? Find a grave?
Ancestry.com.
Oh wow.
Some of them might have been on Find a Grave. Let's see what's next. Okay, that is Abel, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't leave the.
This was still in the James stuff.
Oh, this is in the James stuff too. Maybe that was James when he was younger.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that is right.
He looks like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other one has a smaller nose, pointier nose.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's James's grave that's right next to Abel's.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So
How
James died in
interesting.
34.
And Abel died in 30.
And Abel died in 30. Yep. So,
So
Abel,
right next-
Abel shot himself right after the stock market crashed, and then James died 4 years later. But in that whole 4 years, he went a little crazy about the Dynamite story, and everybody in town knew
Yeah,
it.
it just makes it. That's just. Yeah, because I don't understand. What does it matter?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Super cool story though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So
That's
do
pretty
we need
neat.
to take a commercial break?
Yep, we're gonna take a
Okay,
commercial break.
And then I have a little bit more of something I found in the Wayne County News.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
All right. We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Pegel's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Pegel Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me all your lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas,
What?
you better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to, by the way, with Beth and Stacey. So while I was researching that story and some Wayne County stuff, I came across some other Wayne County news. Back then, they used to run the mortuary report in the newspaper, kind of like our obituaries that we run.
Okay, yeah.
But it wasn't like a full obituary. It was just like a report of who had died in this week or in 2 weeks' time. And I thought it was interesting. So we're going to go all the way back to 1875.
Oh, okay, cool.
Wayne County Press. And it says, the following list of deaths in Wayne County within the past 2 weeks has been furnished to us by T.J. Smith, Undertaker. Okay, so this is the list of names for 2 weeks in 1875. Just 2 weeks. Mrs. J.W. Smith. John Tucker's child. Mrs. Porter, Joseph Williams' child, Mrs. E.E. Cates, John Hill's child, W.J. Butler's child, Mrs. J. Martin, James Sanders' child, Molly Sinks.
All those people
1,
died?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what the population was at that time, but if you're looking at like a percentage of people, that probably was a pretty high percentage. But how many of them were children?
Children. In 1918?
Not 1875.
Or 1875?
Okay, so then here's another one, a mortuary report. J.M. McRill, Undertaker, furnishes us with the following list of deaths that have occurred in Arrington during the last month. Now, I don't know the Arrington area of Wayne County.
I don't either.
But this was the same time, 1875. And this is a month's worth of just this small community. John Talbot's 2 children.
2 children?
W. Pascoe's child. Alfred Malone's child. Rich Feather's child. H. Glidewell's child. Virgil Downing's child, Christopher Walter's child, 8 kids.
Oh my goodness.
In 1 month in this small little community. And I mean, it had to be small. I'm sure the Wayne County people are like, oh, that's the Sisney area or the Jeff area or whatever. But how sad. I mean, we take it for granted. Like if our community loses 1 child within a year, like we are all just like, oh, torn apart. And it is sad regardless of how many, but I can't even imagine like your community losing this many kids per month.
Yeah, I have no idea.
To illness and sickness and accidents and all the other things. Isn't that just...
It is very sad.
I mean, it really puts it in perspective
It
when you
does.
see it all listed out like that, and that's just a month.
1 month's time, that many children.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what happened if there was like a
Flu epidemic
flu
or what was
epidemic,
happening.
or if it's childbirth.
Yeah, some of it could have been that. I don't know. 1875. A lot of kids died. Very sad.
That's nutty.
Yeah, it is. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that, major bad news in there.
Yeah.
I only do that because I think it's interesting. It's
It is
important to
interesting.
history, but
Yeah.
yeah. What do you have?
Well, I'm going to throw in something here. Do you want to know what was happening in our little county in March of 1924?
Sure.
Sure. Let's just throw out some of these neat things. March 1924, Edwin, 3-year-old son of Mr. and Mrs. Floyd Smith of Flora, was rushed to Chicago Thursday night when breathing became difficult.
Uh-oh.
The problem arose when the little fellow swallowed a kernel of corn while playing with the ear of corn a day before. By the next day, the kernel apparently had swelled and the child could not breathe.
Oh, so he aspirated it into
Yep.
his lung? Ooh,
yep.
that could be really bad.
2 specialists, Dr. Walter Nader and Dr. Carl Bookwalter, were summoned after x-rays failed to show the obstruction. The child was hurried to St. Francis Hospital, and Dr. George Boot, another specialist, prepared for an immediate operation. The child was operated on Saturday and could scarcely breathe. A bronchoscope with a light attached to the end showed the piece of corn had lodged where the windpipe divides to enter the lung. Yipes.
Oh, wow. He's
Yeah.
lucky he lived.
Well, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't? Oh.
Wait a minute. He
I'm on
did
the
die.
edge of my seat here. Did he
Death.
die or not?
Death technically occurred on the operating table at St. Francis Hospital in Evanston, Illinois, but the child was kept alive with oxygen. A few minutes after the kernel of corn had been removed, the child revived and asked for a drink of water.
Oh, bless his little baby heart.
Right? Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
his parents had to be
3-year-old.
terrified.
Oh, I'd have been a nervous wreck.
Oh, my.
By early Sunday morning, the tube was withdrawn, and in the afternoon, the child was allowed to go home to his uncle's house, Dr. H.I. Smith of the Chicago area. Less than 48 hours after his life had been saved by the removal of a kernel of corn from the bronchial entrance to a lung, Edwin James Smith romped and played at his residence on South Park Avenue, oblivious to the fact that his life had recently been in
Wow.
jeopardy.
Kids can just bounce back,
Oh.
can't they?
Yeah, and I'll tell
Wow.
you what, Joanna's 3 years old. Any type of choking or anything, I can't hardly, I lose mine.
Carissa used to choke all the time, no matter what
So
she ate.
did
She
Mac.
choked. We had to have a
Ugh.
speech a pathologist come to sit and eat at our kitchen table one night and watch her eat to determine why she was always choking.
Mac would choke all the time, too. We actually went and had a scope down him because it was just, it wouldn't matter what he ate. Mm-hmm. Crazy. Other hospital notes reported by Dr. Campbell include news of the operation of John Fry's son for the removal of his tonsils and an
Adenoids.
an appendicitis operation
He did
of
both?
Lauren Renner,
Oh, okay.
daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Max Renner. In April of that same year, 1924, we find where Russell Harris, son of Mr. and Mrs. Walker Harris of North Clay City, that's a weird way to put North Clay City, came near meeting his death on Thursday evening while riding his horse. The horse reportedly stumbled on the rough ground and threw young Russell off, the horse falling on top of him. He was first thought to be very seriously hurt, but recovered after having only been bruised extensively.
I bet. Fine lands.
Okay, let's talk about a couple parties.
Okay.
There were a couple parties mentioned in March and April, which Rita writes, which I thought I would write about in hopes that someone might recognize some of the names and find it interesting. I was once told that to write something of interest, one should include as many names as possible. So here we go. Little Folks Party. A party was given at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Troy Gibson for their daughter Lucille on Monday afternoon, March 3rd, 1924. This was to honor her 8th birthday anniversary. She was the recipient of many gifts, with refreshments consisting of ice cream and cake being served. 18 guests were present and enjoyed several hours of fun and frolic.
Oh, frolicking.
I love it. You gotta love it. You gotta
Yeah.
love it. A merry party, April 24th, Mrs. Olive and Ruth McQueen spent Saturday and Sunday at Reinard with their aunt, Miss Lynn McQueen. On Saturday evening, a crowd of young people gathered in and surprised Olive, it being her 13th birthday anniversary. There were 16 people present at that party. Do you think it's funny that they're saying 13th birthday anniversary?
Yeah, which actually makes more sense than saying it's your birthday. It's your birthday anniversary.
Yeah.
But over time, apparently, we've dropped that and just said it's your birthday.
It's your birthday.
But birthday anniversary would technically be correct.
Well, yeah. She was the recipient of many nice presents. The evenings was enjoyed by all with refreshments of ice cream and cake being served. I love this one too. April 17th, 1924. As part of their advertising tactics in the Flora Record Journal 70 plus years ago, which would have been even farther back than that, Medley and Son Ford dealer of Flora ran the following articles apparently to announce the skeptics who had accused them of inflating their number of sales.
Oh. Okay.
I love it. We sold and delivered 16 Fords last Saturday. The knockers would say there is nothing to it. So we will give names and addresses of parties of whom we sold and delivered. So you want to know who bought?
Yeah, tell me
Fords?
who bought a Ford.
Charles Hardy of Flora, O.L. Guyett of Flora, T.A. Neff of Flora, Jim Smelzer of Flora, Clarence Peevler of Flora, Marshall Wilson of Clay City, Robert Ullum of Clay City, William Johnson of Flora, Albert Briegel of Flora, Ralph Paul of Xenia, Ire Anderson of Xenia, Glenn Wilson of Clay City, F.L. Holman of Onley, A.L. Kurtz of Onley, Levi Strigel of Clay City, and Cloyd Bradham of Sisney.
Wow.
By cracky, they sold all them Fords.
They did. They're like, you're saying we didn't sell that many cars? Well, let me read you the receipts, all right? Because they're right here. I'll tell you exactly, and I'll put it in the paper. Who bought a Ford? Don't call me a liar.
I love it. I just love it. Yeah, the Medley and Son Ford dealer of Flora. Yeah. The skeptics.
Well, they proved them wrong.
Inflating
those numbers.
How funny was that?
Oh, that was great. I love tidbits like that.
Yeah. Well, you just never know.
Oh, right.
By cracky, we did too do a lot of cars.
We sold 16 this month, and I'll prove it.
I will prove it.
Oh gosh. Well, we always end the show with something fun. So
how funny was that?
Let's read a Here's Your Sign.
The other day, my friend and I were standing on the street corner when the cops dragged this guy out of a store in a headlock and handcuffs. My friend asked, "Do you think they are taking him to jail?" "No," I said. "He's an escape artist, and they want to see how long it takes him to get free."
Oh, that's funny.
One.
That is a good one. Well, anyway.
Our time's about up.
Yeah,
girl.
so you can always find us on Wabash Catch TV, channel 100, daily at 11, and then again at 3, Monday through Friday. And all of our videos are also on YouTube, so you can find us there. Our YouTube channel is, by the way, with Beth and Stacey.
Well, the next time we see our viewing audience, Easter will be over. So we hope everybody has an enjoyable Easter Sunday morning at church.
Absolutely.
There is, you throw a rock, you hit a church in our little area. So
that's right.
Even if you're not one that goes to church, Easter Sunday is an enjoyable Sunday for you to visit.
Yep.
Usually everybody's got food there. Just saying.
And at First Christian, there will be food.
At First Christian, there will be food.
Breakfast.
And good music and good sermon, and get your day started off right for you to hunt all your Easter eggs that
That's
afternoon.
Right. That's right.
So like I said, I look forward to Easter. So that's our show for today.
Be a great weekend. So anyway, that's it. We'll catch you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless you.